Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thank you for tuning into this video. Is now the time to initiate a position in silver? Is right now the time to buy precious metals? And we know on this channel we're talking about the physical bullion, the coins you can hold with your actual bare hands, not the ETFs. A lot of these articles are coming from an ETF standpoint, which stands for exchange traded funds, which is more the digital or the paper side to investing into precious metals, but we like the physical bullion. There's many factors that bring physical bullion more of a benefit in the long run and in the grand scheme of things than ETFs do, since they are still pegged to the dollar. If you can't hold it, you don't own it. That's the saying of the stackers. If you can't hold it, you don't own it. If you can't touch it with your bare hands, then someone else has control of your wealth. Physical gold and silver is the perfect way to be in full control of your wealth, your hard-earned money. And that is real money we're talking about. So anyways, the link to this article will be in the description, so let's jump into it. It's been a volatile April for the metals markets, and the silver has managed to gain back some ground after falling off a cliff in March and registering a negative 16% return for the month. Fortunately, this bounce is not being met with the enthusiasm for the time being, as small speculators continue to shed their long positions, as we have now hit a 9-month low for the 1-month moving average of long contracts. This is a significant step in the right direction from where we sat 2 months ago, as we've gone from a reading of extreme optimism and drifting towards more neutral levels as of April 24th reading. This does not mean that investors should be starting positions in silver or the miners or silver miners here, but it does suggest that the scales are finally beginning to tilt marginally in favor for the bulls. Let's take a closer look. So as we can see in the chart above, we have silver price, which is the gray line, as well as the 1-month moving average of small speculator positioning in the metal. So currently we see an encouraging divergence in this indicator, as we have seen the price of silver bounce more than 25% off of its mid-March low near $12 an ounce, but small speculators continue to throw in the towel on their long exposure. This is a stark contrast from what we saw in the fourth quarter of early quarter one in silver, as speculators were actually adding to their positioning despite lower prices. That means people were buying them up. Volume was higher even with lower prices. Therefore, if this current backdrop can persist with the small speculators selling more and more contracts despite higher prices, I would be more confident that any 10% to 15% pullback in silver from here would be a buying opportunity. And it really is, right? When silver's cheap, all it means is that you can buy it for cheaper. It's an opportunity to buy cheap silver for one last time before it goes up. Markets are going to go up and down. They bounce all over the place. They go up one day, they're down the next day, they're up a little higher the next day, they're down a little bit the next day, a huge rally the next day, maybe a pullback a little bit the next day, and that's healthy. You want markets to go up and down. You want markets to be, volatile, especially since silver is extremely volatile compared to gold. It hits higher highs and it goes to lower lows. If gold's up 17%, silver might be up 25%. If gold drops 13%, silver might drop 22%. Silver just hits more extreme measures than gold does, also giving it more opportunity. Because it hits higher highs and lower lows, that means you can get the dips for cheaper and you can get the tops for more money. You can profit more off the tops. So if we zoom into the chart above a little closer, we can see the small speculator positioning has been more than halved in just 2 months, from a high of 70,000 long contracts in mid-February to a current reading of 29,000 contracts from 1-month moving average last week. While this is a significant drop, it's not quite to the levels of where we see a considerable tailwind, which occurs when we head into negative territory. Obviously, there's no guarantee that we head back into negative territory in a time of near unprecedented monetary stimulus, but this would be the ideal setup to suggest that silver might finally have bottomed out. The reason for this is that when the majority have thrown in the towel and given up on their bullish bets, the market tends to move higher and force everyone back into higher prices. So what is the best course of action here? So what is the best course of action? So before we go into theirs, I'm going to share mine. So when you invest into anything, right, you want to go in with a game plan of buying opportunities and your exit strategy. You don't want to go into it blindly without a strategy, because that's the lack of preparedness is how you get bit in the butt. So you want to have a game plan. You want to have a safety net price. And I always talk about the safety net price, what you're not going to buy above and what you're not going to sell below. So if you're going to interested in buying, let's say you go to your coin shop, your local coin shop, you want to buy some silver. You go in there with the mindset, I'm not going to buy above $17.20. And if you're going in there to sell silver, say I'm not gonna sell anything below $17.80. And you want to have that mind state, because then you have a price, a put in place price that will protect you from impulse buying and panic selling, which is so easy to fall into. It's very easy to fall victim to impulse buying and panic selling. It happens a lot. It's really a lack of preparedness or a lack of patience. I was talking about the other day, patience, balance, and budgeting are probably the most important things that any stacker can have. With patience, it's because not always is the right time to buy, and there's not always the right time to sell. Sometimes holding off and just letting the markets play out is the best case scenario, with which you need to sometimes do. Not always is there a time to be buying. A lot of people have the mentality of buy, but that's not always the case. Sometimes it's better to just hold off and wait for the markets to play out. So, and that goes the same with selling. Not always the right time to sell. Maybe, what if you sold for $17.50 right now, pretending spot prices around that price, and then what if, in a couple months from now, silver shoots up to $20, and you could have made, almost $3 extra per ounce, which, if you're selling hundreds, if not thousands of ounces, do the math, that's a lot of extra money you could have had, but you simply just weren't patient enough to wait a couple more months. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to fall victim to that. That's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to do it in increments. If you are going to sell, maybe sell at a little bit at a time, and then you're protecting yourself from impulse buying or panic selling, dumping your entire stack on the counter, dumping all your silver at once if the markets do or might be headed somewhere else. So if we look at the chart above, we've got some strong resistance in the $16.70 range for silver, and the short-term support at $13.60 an ounce. Given that we're in the middle of this trading range, don't have small speculator positioning in the zone we want for strong buying signals, I don't see any high probability trade here. However, if we continue to see small speculators shed their long positions and we head to closer negative territory, there's a good chance that the metal will find support at the $13.60 range on a weekly close if we do see a correction. For now, I continue to remain long on gold, but have no interest in starting new positions in silver or silver miners here. While the bulls are disgusted, they're not panicking yet. I'd prefer to panic, or at least more to digest, start a new position in silver. So, obviously, it's a little different of a situation, since we're talking about he's talking about the ETF side of it, but it still is relevant, and it still is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals, a lot of you stackers do invest into the ETF side of it, right? Just because I only focus on the physical bullion doesn't mean that other people don't, right? Precious metals are pretty popular, and I need to take that in consideration. That's also why I share these ETF videos, because I'm sure there are people that invest in the ETFs and want to know what the next the silver miners are, or where you think they're headed, or where I think they're headed, or what other people's perspectives are on them, and what the newest latest thing is, and where to go from there, right? I'm trying to cover all precious metals. Even if I have one idea, doesn't mean everyone else has to follow the same idea, especially since silver stacking is such an individual investment, right? Everyone has different exit strategies, different financial situations, different selling time frames, different buying time frames. Everyone has their own strategy, and whatever works for you, whatever benefits your portfolio, the better. So on that note, I am curious, do you invest into silver ETFs, and why? Do you think there's more advantage in there? Do you think there's more potential? Or are you on my side and you only invest into the physical bullion? I'm curious because I want to see where I should be taking my content as well. If I should talk more from a physical bullion standpoint, or should I throw more ETF stuff into the mix of things, into the swing of things? It's definitely something I need to know as a content creator, as a YouTuber, as someone who makes educational entertaining and informational videos. I need to know where my audience is coming from so I can make that content for you. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe because I'm posting daily videos every single day. So anyways, the link to this article will be in the description. Make sure to smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I'm posting daily videos. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.